Hare Do you need a note taking?
Oh. So, if you have something later on to ask or discuss about Srila Prabhupada, then you can come to it. Maybe we can start first with demonstrating how personal the relationship between Srila Prabhupada and his disciples was. As we mentioned again, every Friday we are starting on the same note to point out that this movement entirely, individually and collectively depended on Srila Prabhupada. One should never forget that. Those who forgot it, despite their learning, their academic merit, and those who forgot it got without exception in trouble. Because, the Northern Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna says, I cannot be approached, I cannot be understood, and I cannot be even, nobody can get even a glimpse of me without the mercy of a pure devotee. That's the condition Krishna puts it straight out. There's no way. Therefore, Prabhupada pointed out himself, there were so many Bhagavad Gitas before he arrived in the West. There were so many people even trying to cultivate some spiritual life, but with no real result. And result, Prabhupada didn't consider mental adjustment. As he said, the chanting of the holy name is not a artificial imposition of the mind, or something like that. It's not just another, mental concept to develop on, That's what people do all the time. They discuss, it's called speculating, that's all. You just produce some idea, you marvel on it, oh, wonderful, what did you say? Oh, great. And then they collect themselves and they exchange this mental ideas with no result. There's no change, neither collectively or individually in their lives. So Prabhupada clearly stated that the change has to be visible. There has to be change of action, and as soon as there is a change of consciousness, there must be external manifestation of it. Because we are not on the level of the yogis in Satya Yuga who didn't do anything. They were just sitting under a tree, meditating, like about the super soul. And there was lots of things going on, which nobody could see. If you would see, there was a yogi sitting under a tree, but there was lots of things going on. Sometimes so many things going on that the demigods descended from the sky to be part of it as well. But externally there was no construction. The yogis were not going out there and cutting trees and building cottages. Even sometimes they didn't do even that. They were just sitting under a tree. These trees were also not normal trees. Today you can sit under a tree and starve to death. Those days, one tree supplied shadow, food, herbs, medicine, and protection of all kind from rain, and that was pious tree. In pious trees, Prabhupada said, they provide at best wood for fuel. That's what they do. Prabhupada said simple needles. That's the Nordic countries. Prabhupada said simply needles, no flowers, no fruit, nothing to eat, just needles. That's impious. Anyway, so this is, Prabhupada introduced us to a completely different world of perception. What we consider beautiful, suddenly we found very ugly. And what we considered ugly, we found suddenly interesting. Like being austere, that's for many people ugly. The brahmacharis are not usually the appearance of sensuality. They're not sensually really stimulating very much. a bed sheet but for somebody who is spiritually inclined, he sees the inner beauty, what they call. That he finds interesting. And that you find in a devotee. And then life starts going on, change of consciousness. But Prabhupada gave Krishna consciousness a very practical form, individual and collective. He put us together. We have to live together. Most of the people don't like it. They talk about it, but they are very happy when they can return at night home to their cubicle, it's called, the cube, box. And then they open the door, close the door, and they sit there alone and watch the TV, what other people do. But big action relating, not so good. Not so good. But Prabhupada put us together in such a personal way that we have to confront each other practically day and night. And that's only possible when there's a spiritual dimension to it. Materially spoken, we would never even meet each other. We didn't met here by law of karma. We met here for spiritual purposes. Otherwise, we would never meet here in this lifetime. We wouldn't even be in this country, maybe. I wouldn't be in this country. For what? I never thought in my life, Denmark, what shall I do in Denmark? I never wanted to go even to the north. I hated north. I wanted to go to the south, where it was warm and people talk all the time and they are alive and this Nordic, people go in a forest and they are there with the trees. And then they look over the lake and they go, so nice here. Nobody here. It's scary. It's scary. But there's places where people are more of that kind of nature. And they enjoy in their way. Everybody has a field of action that he can enjoy. So Prabhupada took people out of the most impossible occasions and put them together. And the center was only him. And he had nothing to offer, what people usually like to have. There was no sense gratification really, except prasadam. That when Prabhupada started to cook, and without a doubt, this movement started by prasadam, not by books. They couldn't understand anything. Even Prabhupada had books with him. He brought books from India. Devotees used to buy these books, but I can give you guarantee most of them couldn't read. Just the layout of the book, it's hilarious. You open a book and what people used to tell me on the street, why is it in Chinese? This is Sanskrit, you never saw anything like this. And then they cannot connect that actually that Sanskrit shloka is translated word by word underneath. They don't connect this immediately, many people. But they think, this is first Sanskrit and then comes this hick-hack of words, this collected words. And then comes kind of the shloka, I understand that. And then comes a purport which repeats itself all the time through maybe 5-10 pages. Surrender to Krishna, and Krishna is God, and surrender to Krishna because he is God, and he is God, and therefore surrender. It's like, what a book, So people find it mundane from mundane point of view. I mean, what is the, mundane literature is building up a story to the climax. Something happens. Either they get married or don't get married, or something happens. Now those who study Bhagavatam find, Bhagavatam is lots of these kind of things going on. But before you get the nature of that literature, really understand that, you have to be a little bit purified. Prabhupada didn't care. He just disseminated his books. This is Bhagavatam. And because these books are of such a transcendental nature that even without understanding them, you get affected. It doesn't happen by normal book. Normal book people want to read. If they understand, yes. If they don't, they throw it away. This book doesn't matter if you understand or not. Because the transcendental impact of that vibration is so condensed and concentrated in that book that even you don't understand. The Prabhupada said, if they just get a glimpse of one word, one sentence, we are not this body. Oh, nobody heard this one before. We are not this body, then what wrong? Or just a glimpse of an idea. That Prabhupada said, the purpose is fulfilled. Their spiritual life started. But in the beginning, this, intoxicated hippies, they could hardly really understand what it is. I remember myself getting a Bhagavad Gita couldn't understand one word, you know. But I was very attracted to the vibration. And what I was attracted most was, that's maybe quite a specific thing, I was mostly attracted to Prabhupada's voice. You know, I had just 2 tapes, audio tapes, where Prabhupada was singing Samsara, and he was singing the evening artic, and there was a purport to it he was speaking. This was published in Germany like that, and I got 2 tapes. And I had 1 tape recorder, it was the only thing I had. So, you know, and I played these tapes day and night. Couldn't understand one word, I couldn't understand even English. But, you know, but the vibration, the voice was unbelievable. I never heard a voice like that before. And by the time both tapes broke, I played them so many times, they just burst, you know, in pieces, stopped functioning, then I joined. So Prabhupada's influence was influence which is beyond the level of material understanding. It's just the vibration coming from a pure devotee. We know even from the material field how much people get influenced by vibrations, by sound. In the same way, we used to listen to Jimi Hendrix, you couldn't understand one word of the lyrics, you know, and the effect was that you became more and more degraded, you became more and more tamasic, you know, just by listening carefully to Jimi Hendrix, you became completely tamasic, you know, pessimistic, cynical, existentialistic, just by doing it. So Prabhupada pointed out this sound vibration is very important. So that's what devotees strive to, these completely, you know, confused hippies. And then, when they got in personal touch with Prabhupada, you have to understand, especially that generation, even today it's also like that, but that generation was completely uprooted. All the values were put in question. All the security offered by the society and what they call career, you know, what you should do to have a peaceful and safe life, was totally put in question, in a massive scale. That was a very favorable preaching field. Everybody had a doubt, where are we going with this? What's going to happen? And then there was the war, which was happening on a far, far away in Vietnam. But it was very real because people never came back, you know, or they came back in plastic sacks, you know. So many. So it was like, wow. Student who was studying, you know, philosophy 1 week was the next week in a jungle killing children. You know, quite a change of consciousness. And then he came back, they call him, he's a hero, and he was welcomed by his friends who were hippies, holding posters on the airport, welcome you baby killer. He had no more friends. Everybody was spitting on him. You know, how many babies did you kill? You know, and it was not his choice to go to Vietnam, he was drafted. There he was told he's a hero. He was, you know, rejected by his own friends. He had nowhere to go. That's a situation you start to become a devotee. Uprooted, all the security gone, all the hopes for some sort of safety in this world put in question. It's a very essential situation. I just heard a lecture from Prabhupada, one of the very early ones, you know, recorded ever. And he is stressing the point so much. We have to become aware how much we suffer. If we don't get this, we will not be inspired in spiritual life. We will at least not take it seriously. He gives examples, so many different examples, you know, how people suffer without knowing it. He gives like example, when you are operated and you are under anesthetic, you know, you are just unconscious, you know, you think, I don't suffer. I'm okay. You know, yeah. But wait until the effect of the intoxication goes away and you wake up. Well, that's going to hurt. So that's actually the first effect of preaching, that people wake up to the fact, oh, it hurts. You know, because when you are under illusion, intoxicated, anesthetic, then you say, no, I'm fine. No, you're not fine, they are cutting off your leg. You know, this is what Prabhupada stressed over and over again. So Prabhupada had a relatively easy job on this point because so many young people were uprooted and confused and just escaped the draft to go to Vietnam to get killed or killed. This creates violent reactions, of course, in the consciousness of people. So they were actually taking shelter. And this is the Krishna consciousness stance. But this is just a preview of the future, what happened even to Prabhupada. When they got at ease and they got the shelter, they stopped appreciating it. That's called Shudra. Brahmana, he will always understand. Intelligent will always understand. Where do I come from? What happened there? Let's not do it again. Let's not repeat the same mistake again. But Shudra, as soon as he gets more relaxed, he has a belly full, and he feels the happiness, he gets proud, puffed up. That what happened to Prabhupada too. Very soon, these hippies, by that time they were just completely spiritually blissful and they were just enjoying Krishna consciousness. They start to forget where that came from. And that's the first crisis arrived in ISKCON, where Srila Prabhupada's dominance was not questioned. Nobody dared to do this. Nobody is actually daring to do this today, until today. Even some live in a clear opposition to Srila Prabhupada. But nobody will dare to say such a thing, really. I mean, some will, but that's really, it's exceptionally degraded. But the idea that, yes, Prabhupada was good to start with, and now we have to go beyond that, that comes easy. When that's a tempting thing, especially for those who are surrounded by so much knowledge available. So it's a very, very dangerous point where you start to think, oh, so much knowledge, great. I know so much, great. Well, I know, that's nice. But you actually, that's what Krishna defines as the first symptom of knowledge is humility. That's the real knowledge. And materially acquired, academically acquired knowledge, doesn't matter what kind of knowledge, but it's taken through the material channel, results in pride. I know so much, oh, I'm great. No, that means he doesn't know. He just accumulated some data, that's all. So this is actually what Krishna is also testing us again. That you really got the point. The Krishna consciousness will be tested. You have to fight for it. You have to secure it. You have to protect it. Protect it against influences of all kinds. Whereby the personal, physical, and mental misery is relatively a small aspect. There will be those coming in who will tell you something else is Krishna consciousness, and you have to be really sharp. You have to constantly remember, did Prabhupada do that? Where did Prabhupada say it? Where did he wrote it? All the time. Prabhupada said, devotee is like a lawyer. Lawyer in court. Maya argues. Therefore, things should be like that. And you see, it is like that, according to Maya's law. And then you have to come up all the time. Prabhupada said, a lawyer means always quoting. According to paragraph so and so, this is Maya. And according to this paragraph, he should not do this. People don't like it. They think, well, what about the loving Krishna consciousness? I didn't came here in a courtroom to be always judged and always, they have even the expression in Americans, don't be judgmental, Judgmental, well, you are judgmental right now by calling me judgmental. Don't be judgmental, meaning don't be puffed up and put yourself in a position to judge others. No, that one shouldn't do. It's a fact. But there is a certain principles Prabhupada laid down. One should defend, and one should not sell out one's conscience just to go along something which obviously, very obviously, is not or would never be supported by Prabhupada. I can give you a whole list of preparations of deviations. There's a certain vocabulary which goes with this. Like, there is no black and white. Just that. Well, this is true in some sense. Yeah, like example, we see somebody out of weakness doing something which is not Krishna conscious. So he is, from our point of view, working in a black zone. Yeah, he is off. Right? Yeah, he is off. Prabhu, you are off. You know, yeah. No. When you see that he is struggling, recognizing his weakness and his shortcomings, and he's struggling to rectify it and to come to Krishna consciousness, that's the gray zone. Actually, there's a Sanskrit word for it. It's called Kama Mishra Bhakti. That means he is performing bhakti, but it's still heavily tinged by karma, lust, material desires. This is all there. In other words, he is striving for getting cured, but still he is sick, affected by disease. That Krishna is so, clear about this. He said he should still be considered saintly. But if he came to understand, no, I'm not sick, or I have to administer my own medicine, I don't need any doctor for this. Look, I mix something up here and I will become healthy because my medicine, I'm good. Then he is lost. So that's the gray zone. That's actually neither black or white, but there is black and there is white. But very often these people who quote this meme don't say this is right, don't say this is wrong. It could be both. That's not such a thing like this. It's like half true. It's a little bit true, a little bit not true maybe. This is what you propagate in a society all the time, this kind of gray zone. Don't be, he's, and they have all kinds of vocabulary to explain this. So it's very dangerous to listen to this. I can give you examples, I can give you so many stories about God brothers I lost in this. But I don't want to mention the names. But one of my most precious God brothers got completely lost and confused to such a degree that he just, he at the end, the last thing before he left Krishna consciousness, or practice of Krishna consciousness, he told me, we completely forgot to understand why are people doing what they are doing. We are always judging what they are doing, but we don't really understand why are they doing.